I don't know anything about this opponent, but obviously within a few hands we'll start to develop reads and come up with some better game plans than what default game plans might include. Obviously, min raising is going to be our standard raise size from the button. And c-betting is also going to be pretty much mandatory, especially at the beginning of a match when you don't know much about your opponent as far as whether he check raises much or calls tons of flops or folds tons of flops. This is a decent barrel card, but it's also a card that is going to do pretty well for his range. I mean, he could be calling a set, pretty much any pair on the flop, flush draws, and king high. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and give up at this spot, even though two barreling would probably be okay as well. Some villains tend to 3-bet like all of their ace-x, and others will flat a good percentage of their weak ace-x, and that's also another pretty important thing to know. If I had any reason to believe that he never flats ace-x, I would definitely just barrel in a spot like this. But I really don't know anything about him, so I'm just going to play straightforward to start. Queen 8 is an easy defend. And a pretty easy check fold. I should have some HUD stats coming up here sooner or later. I'm not sure where they are right now. This is definitely a 3-bet all-inable. It's also foldable. Flatting really doesn't make much sense, at least not at this stack depth. When you're this short, those kind of hands really go down in value in terms of flatting. He is from Russia, so that tells us nothing. Pretty much exactly nothing. When he donks this board, it's a little bit odd. I mean, it's really unlikely he has anything like King X. He could have 8X or more likely he has complete air, but again, I usually give respect on the first donk, and I find that if you give people credit on their first donk, they'll give you more credit if you bluff raise them later, or if you raise in general later, they'll give you more credit since you didn't necessarily raise their first, the first one. Ace-X is a pretty easy jam, 12 big blinds deep, doesn't play well post-flop, so there's really no purpose in min-raising. This guy also flats a ton and 3-bets never, so raising is okay here, but I think for a weaker hand like this, I kind of prefer limping since he's probably not folding much pre-flop. It's a little early for these numbers to really mean much. They certainly don't mean much at this after 8 hands, but they're not meaning less either. They have some value. We just have to treat them lightly. Probably calling with Queen Jack. Definitely raise calling there at that stack depth. Not going to raise fold. It's a little too strong. And Ace-X is an easy jam. Aces. It's either a jam or a flat. I think I'm going to flat and check raise. I did 3-bet once before. I think 3-betting would be okay just because I 3-bet once before, and so whatever. It's not like it kind of sucks for aces to be your first 3-bet, but I think both plays are pretty fine. It's going to be really tough to know what's better versus opponent that you know so little about as I know about this guy. I think 3-betting to like 120-ish might be the worst though, just because it's just like quite obvious. I'm going ahead and min-raising here because it's a bit stronger than 6-8. Limping would be okay too, but the guy hasn't 3-bet us at all. I don't think he's going to... I mean, he's less likely to be the type to 3-bet super wide in any given spot, considering he hasn't 3-bet us yet. And he did shove over my first limp, so I think min-raising there is a pretty obvious choice, but he does indeed 3-bet shove. And King 9, though I don't know anything about his late game, like 10 big blind play, I should say, I think it's a pretty standard call against most villains. He's not like that tight from the small blind. He opens 71%, so it's pretty standard. And we hold up. And at 4 big blinds, I'm getting in almost any two. I mean, I guess there's some villains where you can find a fold with some of the bottom end of your range, but it's not super common. Based on his 10-7 shove, not that it was bad or anything, but I think it's enough to make King 4 call at this stack depth.